Hey everyone, good evening. Vledik has just poured a beer because he saw that I had a beer, so we're both drinking beers. So good evening everyone. Welcome to the stream. It's been a while. I actually just checked and I just said to Vledik, the last stream we did was the end of June, so July, August, September, nearly two months and 2 months and a few weeks. So it's been a while. Lots has happened. Yeah, lots have happened in the world and in Cardano and in the Drunken Dragon. Everything's going on. I've got a new job. Vledik's been programming non-stop, and it's just all been a blur. But there's lots to talk about today. We've got plenty of stuff to cover because, as you all know, it's a pretty momentous day tomorrow in the Drunken Dragon. But we'll talk about more of that in a minute. So, Vledik, how are you? What have you been up to? Yeah.
Can hear me?
It seems that way, but I think it might be okay now. I think it should be okay. 1 second. Yeah, there you go. They can hear you now. They can hear you now. So yeah, sorry
Okay.
to ask that question again. The how are you? What have you been up to? What's new?
Okay. All right. Can you hear me? Yeah. There it is. Awesome. Well, I'm doing great. Super excited for tomorrow. Tomorrow is such an important date, and yeah, it's been quite an adventure. I mean, it definitely feels like an actual adventure. You know, when there's like actual danger and mishappenings, and
Yeah,
it seems like sometimes everything just goes downwards. But we basically went through it. Like
yeah,
true adventurers. The Jpeg store folk, they were great party members,
yeah.
and I think we're ready for the last boss. And yeah, tomorrow's gonna be an epic day for
Well,
sure.
trust me, it's not going to be the last boss. We've got plenty of bosses to come up against in the future. I reckon over the next 5, 10 years, however long. But it's definitely going to be the first and most important boss of our time. So, like I just said in the intro before I didn't have the audio working. It's been 2 months since I last ran the fire chat. What is kind of one of the biggest things that you personally have been working on with the project?
Well, many things, right? So, uh, besides making sure everything is nice and neat for tomorrow, we're working on several things at the same time. So one of the things that we have on testnet right now, which we are continuously working on,
Yeah,
is the Idle Adventures, right? Which is our staking game with adventurers. And this game, we're starting to like it a lot, and we see a lot of potential with it. So we're already planning on rolling out and testing out some different features for it and making it better. But
so
we really want to, start working on new features based on feedback of people. So we another thing that we're working on right now is we're going through like a big revamp of our backend. Basically, the servers in which all of our systems are running on,
yeah,
um, they were a bit more let's say simplistic, because in the beginning we basically just wanted to like launch things.
mm,
But now that we're actually starting to grow and actually starting to evolve a lot, we're starting to invest into actually setting up a proper professional infrastructure.
Yeah.
So we're, properly setting up AWS, Kubernetes, all of our microservice infrastructure. And even though not a lot has happened with Idle Adventures right now, there's a lot happening in behind. So basically, we're setting up our servers so that it's really easy to start introducing new things and new features, and debug and do all the important things that you need to do to sustain systems.
Yeah.
And we're doing this also in preparation of a product that we haven't really talked a lot about, but hopefully in the next months we're going to launch it, which is something we call the DDU app, or the Drunken Universe app. And this is going to be first a web application which
Nice.
will integrate everything Drunken Dragon, right? So it will have like a collection explorers, which are specific to our collections. It will have a way for you to browse your own assets through like a custom Drunken Dragon experience. And there, it's gonna be like this single hub in which you'll be able to like download the current ints application, and you'll be able to launch idle adventures, and you'll be able to access the encyclopedia, and everything that we're building, it's going to be integrated into this single application, which in the beginning is going to be browser only, like web based,
Yeah.
but it's gonna soon enough evolve into a desktop application and then into a phone application, right?
Nice.
But yeah, first things first.
Yeah, of course. No, I always said, I think even when I first got into the project, like I think it's actually nearly a year ago, I always imagined something happening with mobile, because the world, as we actually were talking about a little bit before we went live, like the way the mobile phone market is nowadays, it's like so much is going on there. But obviously, yeah, like you say, small steps first, because we want to make sure that everything's all good on a desktop and all good. Would it be Windows and Mac, or would it just be Windows?
Yeah, it's gonna be Windows and Mac. So the way in which we're gonna implement it is through a framework called Electron,
Yeah,
which will make it like super easy for us to basically have one code base and support web, desktop, Windows, and Mac. And
cool.
then we're gonna use another framework to also support like all mobile. But
Yeah, that'd be cool.
yeah. Yeah, one of our objectives right now is to start investing into the short-time, like short-term collector experience.
Yeah,
So I think we already have a lot of value out there, given that we have the collections and there's already a community. So we want to start supporting that community through like creating these tools to start enhancing the collector experience of the Drunken Dragon assets. So by first, providing a cool way to browse your collection,
yeah,
and unify the fact that you have several collections right now. So we want to have like a really cool way for you to like check out what you have and what others have,
yeah,
and so that we can start implementing some tools on top, like for example swapping. uh, some of the things that I'm really looking forward is properly giving intrinsic value to people. So to those that are properly, collecting our adventurers and our assets, etc., I really want to create an experience which is similar to like other real life collectibles, like for example TCGs, like
yeah,
Yu-Gi-Oh or Magic the Gathering. I mean, I think the cool thing about this is that you can just go and you'll swap with your friend whatever repeated card you have, or you can go and sell it or do whatever you want. Like these are the kind of freedoms that a blockchain is bringing back to us,
yeah,
and we want to like uh, create the right ecosystem for people to keep enjoying that.
yeah. I was when you're talking there, I was just thinking that it'd be great inside the app to have like you said, like a swap shop almost, where you put your asset on the blockchain. Let's say the terahertz card, and you say I want a Vim tier card, and you put it up on there, and someone can log in using one of their D apps and basically trade the card one for one. But it will only do
Yeah.
it if it's obviously the identifier of the one that I want. So someone can't go and trade like a lower tier card, for example, for man. It will only be the one that can be put in there, and then the app will do it for you as like a dex. That'd be pretty sweet, right?
Yeah, definitely. And one of the things, I mean, we really want to invest into making the whole stuff social. So, for example, eventually we also want to like implement some kind of friend list, so that you can easily like check out or keep track of what is a collector's progress of your friends,
Yeah, cool.
and then just like propose swaps based on that, right? Like just like in like an MMORPG in which you will just open like a trade window,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah,
just like, hey, I'll trade you this for that one, right? And you just
yeah,
like send the proposal. So maybe you're with Vimtir, and then he has like one of your terahertz cards, and you're like, hey, I'll trade you this one.
yeah,
And you know, I think I really care about making this about people and not so much about the NFTs per se.
yeah.
And we want to introduce all of these features to like help on that experience on actually, collecting as also a social experience and a one-to-one experience.
Yeah, cool. Um, so obviously with Idle Adventures, like we discussed a minute ago, about how sort of the progress is going and the back end's getting upgraded. How long do you plan to have the test net kind of going for before we move over to mainnet? What's the sort of time span in your head about how you think about it?
Well, we wanted to go into mainnet like really soon. Like
Yeah,
we were thinking next week. Um, but there's some stuff that maybe we want to introduce before that.
yeah,
Um, there's specifically, this is an experience we want to evolve through time, and it's also something that will impact other things we're planning. So there's like this kind of conundrum in which you want to like release a feature into mainnet where you're already like leveling up the characters and gaining some dragon silver, etc. But then there's like new features you want to introduce, and then there's gonna be like this awkward moment in which we want to introduce like a feature and you already have like really high level characters or adventurers, and and then it's and then those persons either won't have the experience of like enjoying the future from the beginning,
yeah,
or they're gonna like immediately like have already like high level characters on a future that um, maybe we design it so that people will go through it together.
yeah,
So there's some mechanisms we're starting to like play with around play around with, which are related to like somehow introduce this like seasons in which the rule sets change, and so that we can like properly experiment with new features without ruining the experiences and without taking away from your dragon silver rewards, etc. So there's some things we still want to like set up so that we evolve faster in the future. um, but this is all in favor of just ensuring that we always create a great experience, because for us, for the Drunken Dragon Entertainment development team, what is most important is creating great experiences, right? So everything else is secondary. What we want to create is the most epic fantasy universe, and the way in which we do it is through creating great experiences and compelling experiences that help you start getting connected into the world and with other people. So that is our priority.
Cool. Yeah, it's funny when you mention the word seasons. It makes me think of two things. It makes me think of the actual seasons. Like there could be quests in Idle Adventures that are based around the seasons. Like it's going into fall now. It could be a case you go into a forest where all the leaves have come on the floor and you find something, or go into winter and there could be snow everywhere. So you could base some of the quests around the surroundings of the world when it's in the season. But also it reminds me of seasons in Diablo where kind of things could potentially reset at the end of a certain time period, maybe 1 month or 3 months or however much it will be, and then new things can come in to take over, and the new season takes on, and then there's new things that have been implemented because the team's kind of had 3 months to work on new things, and then a new season begins, and there's new things to do, right?
Exactly. No, exactly like that, right? So because we don't want to like commit to like a set a rule set which we still haven't discovered, right?
Yeah,
Because we're in this constant search for something that is fun, and the only way in which you can assure that something is fun is by testing it out and launching it to the people and getting feedback from that and making sure that this is something that people like and that we like and that is fun and that is achieving the ultimate objectives that we have, right?
yeah,
So it's exactly like that. Um and between these seasons there's like different things that will happen, like maybe your adventurers will reset in level, and new rule sets will come which
yeah,
will make like different mechanics different. But I want to make sure that between each season you're rewarded for participating in the season, right?
yeah,
Either through like Dragon Silver or other rewards.
yeah. Cool. So one thing that we've kind of seen a lot of in the last sort of, well, the last 6 months maybe since the start of the year was the combat in the game, and that was something that we showed quite a lot of in our quest log videos that we made each week on a Friday. How's that been going? How's the development been going of the combat? Has there been anything new added, or has there been a pause? What's the next stages of combat?
Well, we actually reached combat to a place in which I was liking it a lot, but which still requires a lot of effort. And at the same time, one of our game developers, um, he started his own project, like his own like game project. So
Yeah,
we're right now with only one game developer. So because we're going a bit slow on that, we redirected these efforts into improving inns, the current experience of inns.
yeah,
So we're putting like a small pause in the combat until we get a better budget, and then we can keep investing into that, because the combat is um, it's a big investment, because I
yeah,
want to make sure that things are fun, right? And this might take a lot of time, and you really need to do a lot of refinement on the experience that you're building. And because Drunken Entertainment is still a startup and we're still growing, we need to like focus on things that are giving us value right now. And I think that ins like the actual Drunken Dragon ins application, the one that you can already download and have your tavern and set up your adventures and the furniture, etc. It feels like it's long overdue on like having like proper improvements.
yeah,
So we're right now actually working on that, and to make sure that we still deliver on the original promise that we had for that, which I think is still pretty cool. The whole fish tank experience, etc. So we're right now investing into that. Um, but with this next sale, and also with the initial stake pool offering with the shared tokens that we're doing through Genius X, we're also gonna get like extra funds that we'll be able to use to invest into more Unreal game developers, and um take that back and retake that development of the combat, because
yeah,
it's it I wish I could show you, but it's still very raw, right? It's still
Yeah,
like
yeah,
not a complete experience. But I was liking a lot what we were doing there. We just need to like, you know, uh, creating a startup and bootstrapping a universe like it is the Drunken Dragon universe. You really need to do resource management
yeah. Of
and
course.
to make sure that we are already we're always creating the value that we need to create now, right?
Yeah, totally understand. I mean, with being said, with what we just spoke about, will it be Hammerbyte Games that will again be helping develop that further in the future, or is it something that's kind of open to other Unreal developers?
It's really open to it might be one, the other, or both, right? So, given that we have a bigger budget, we'll definitely um, do whatever is sensible in that moment. Um, at this point, I would rather start like doing direct hiring directly because we're starting to create proper expertise. And anyway, Hammerbyte is giving us a lot of consultancy independently of the talent they give us.
Yeah.
So I feel confident on starting to get like direct hires at this point.
Yeah, cool. So you heard it here, guys. If you're a great Unreal developer, contact us. Tavern.moderators at drunkendragon.games. Um, so one thing that was kind of something that were kind of disappointed everyone, but also it came out as actually a really positive thing was our mint that was planned for the end of July. So was you kind of surprised about how the community took the fact that we postponed our mint? It seemed to go down like kind of really positively with a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely very heartwarming, and it felt really nice and positive. The fact that everyone responded with so much support, both people like the members of the community and the development team, right? So it was like really unfortunate also for the developer team because we planned like this big like dinner here at my
Yeah.
apartment, and like
I
some
saw it all,
people
man.
actually flew.
I saw it all.
Yeah,
I saw you guys all hanging out and doing things, and I was like, this is like going to be an epic, momentous day. And then it kind of all. I mean, I saw the hard work that everyone was putting in. The sort of 2 weeks up until the mint date was crazy. Like, I've
yeah.
never seen anything like it. Everyone was just full, all hands on deck. Myself and like the innkeeper team were on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, and we were on Reddit every single day. I was getting banned from Reddit accounts for keep posting things, and all the dev team were in the chat, just like absolutely just hammering all of the code in and all of the other bits and bobs. So yeah, it was a amazing fun time to be part of.
Yeah, definitely. And then it was, of course, there was a moment in which it was, a bit disappointing, in which we had to delay it. And I had to tell some of the developers when I was picking them up from the airport. So it
Oh,
was like, yeah, oh, welcome. Well, yeah,
let's just party
we're not
instead.
doing the mint right now
Yeah,
today or tomorrow. Uh,
yeah,
but yeah, but yeah, like I explained the situation, and definitely everyone was very supportive, and like I think especially the artists, they're very emotionally invested into this.
of
They're
course.
super excited about tomorrow. They're also nervous, right?
I
I
think we all are.
think, yeah, I think we're all in love with this project, and we really wanted to succeed. So it's yeah,
Oh, mate,
great. Yeah,
it's gonna be an awesome day tomorrow. It's gonna be something that kind of even though the project's only like just over a year old, to see where it's come from to what it is today and how it's kind of built up over time and the community is built up and to see all the different fanfare and the different like fun that everyone's had over the last year to this point. I mean, this is just going to be the first point in many points in the future as well, right? This is the second mint, you know. Well, I suppose it could be the third mint if you think about it, because obviously you had the Grandmaster Adventurers and the Pixel Tiles, which kind of came together. This is kind of like the third mint, but season two, and that's of how many seasons there could be endless things in the future, right?
yeah, definitely. And there's other types of collectibles that we're gonna start throwing. As I said, we're really focused on creating actual value, and there's really interesting things coming. And this last year has been a lot about a lot about um, like actually building the company, right?
Yeah.
Like we haven't been as fast as we want because we literally didn't have the people, right? So it's been like now we have like a team of, I believe, 13 people full time, and like
Yeah.
we together with all the part-timers and volunteers, etc. I think we're like around like 20 people which are like heavily committed to the project.
Yeah.
And I think with this with the money that will come from this collection, we're definitely gonna start like picking up on speed a lot, especially with all the investments that they're gonna start paying off in the next weeks ahead, right?
Yeah.
So so yeah, and you know there's more to talk about what's next, because our focus uh, after this it's gonna be a bit on actually starting to focus on people which are not necessarily in the crypto world, right?
Yeah.
We want to create experiences that are also compelling to people which are not per se necessarily just interested in NFTs, right? Um, so if we do our work well, we're gonna start bringing a lot of people which were not into NFTs. They're gonna start actually knowing and wanting to be into NFTs, right? Thanks
Yeah.
to our project. I guess a bit like what happened with yourself, right? Which I believe Drunken Dragon Pixel Tiles were your first NFTs ever, right?
They were. They certainly were. Yeah. I've recollected the story many times of. I went into work one day. One of my work colleagues who was very knowledgeable about crypto with Ethereum and Solana, and I said to him, "I want to get an NFT just to become part of the whole hurrah of owning an NFT." And he was like, "Oh, you got some Cardano, haven't you?" I was like, "Yeah, I've got some Cardano." He's like, "Well, they do that on ADA. You can get NFTs. I've not got any, but let's have a look on the marketplace." And we logged into it was, at the time was CNFT.io, and the first thing that I saw on the page was the Orc Brute. The first thing that I saw, and I was like, this is me. This is like that's something that I should be part of. And then I bought it within like 10 seconds. It was like went through and bought it through there and through Yoroi, and that's where it all began. And it's something like that. If we can appeal to like you say, the mass market, and it's not a case that the NFTs is the focus. It is the great game, the great community, the great product that is the focus. The fact that it's an NFT can come later. It doesn't have to be part of the selling point, because even though NFTs have got a very sort of like 50-50 sort of reputation in the media, right? A lot of
Yeah.
people like us who are part of the ecosystem, we understand it and we love it and we know what it's all about. But there's a lot of people that don't understand it and will just
Yeah.
completely neglect the fact that it's anything new because they don't want to get involved in it. But if we can make something that's so good that they want to come over, then that's the aim, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Exactly like that. Um, and I mean, there's different ways in which we'll be able to accomplish that.
Yeah,
And talking about what's next for the Drunken Dragon, we're gonna be working on two things. First, an experience that we can deliver now or in the short term, and gives us time to actually develop the game,
yeah,
but already delivers like a great Drunken Dragon experience. And also working on the technology to enable people to get into our universe, purchase our collectibles, but opt in into NFTs, right? So we want to make NFTs an option for you, not a necessity, right?
yeah,
And incentivizing you to say like, okay, if you opt in for NFTs, you gain certain liberties, and that's great for you, right? And then there's a moment in which people will start properly understanding what is the use case of NFTs, at least in our ecosystem. So what I'm talking about is one thing that we haven't really announced, and we're working on it, and I guess only the people that are listening right now and that will listen to this will know about it, and we'll do like a proper announcement later.
I don't even know about this,
Uh,
by the way. So
yeah, yeah. This is an experiment that will be running in the next weeks, in the next weeks ahead. But we want to create a novel RPG experience through our products. So the Drunken Dragon is everything about the universe and creating a fantasy universe together, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna create something we call an augmented role-playing experience, and this is basically we're gonna start doing some products like, for example, a webcomic, which the webcomic outcome will depend on uh, what things you do through idle adventures. So, for example, in idle adventures, you'll have certain quests, which, if you accomplish them, you'll basically contribute towards a certain decision within like a type of storyline, right, or a type of a narrative that is going on.
yeah,
And then the webcomic that comes afterwards, they will basically develop the outcome or the next chapter or the next episode based on the quests that people did through idle adventures. And and then we want to extend this in different ways that I don't want to like say just
mm.
right now, but we really want to use different type of media and all of our applications to start getting you into a storyline and into the universe, and specifically into the daily life of Outstar and some characters that we'll be introducing, including some which are, of course, already in the S2 Adventures of the Olden collection. So we basically want to take our products that we're creating, like Idle Adventures, and through that, uh, let you affect a storyline and the product that we'll be creating. So that basically the story that starts happening with this product, it will be basically a contribution of the community, right? Like the community, we want to make basically the biggest role-playing Dungeons and Dragons game, right? In which you're able to contribute to the or interact with the story through idle
Yeah,
adventures. And there's so many specifics that I can't wait to share them, and it's like really exciting.
yeah,
But with this, hopefully, we'll be able to go into the world and say, hey, there's like the biggest role-playing game that is happening right now, and it's being materialized through this webcomic and other things that I haven't talked about, and you can be part of by just playing this idle RPG, which is idle adventures, right?
yeah.
So that's the first thing. We want to create an RPG experience that is collaboratively done through idle adventures, and then um, one thing that is important is like lowering the bar the barrier of lowering the bar of access to our ecosystem, right?
Yeah.
So we basically, if people start getting excited about contributing to this role-playing experience, we need to make it easy for them to to get into it and maybe start collecting, right?
Mm.
So what we will do, besides like, for example, bringing one or two free adventures with which are non-NFT just attached to like every account, besides that, we are gonna make having NFTs optional. So we're starting to create a collection of non-character adventurers. So let's say like adventurers which are of each one of our classes, but which are really very introductory. Let's
Yeah.
say these are a bit more uh, like a TCG pack experience or like a Pixel Tiles experience, in which
Yeah.
with $5 or $10 you will get like three, and this is gonna be a collection that is gonna be not gonna be limited by amount of adventurers,
Yeah.
but by time, right? Like we're gonna run this collection for 1 year, let's say, and we're basically gonna mint as many as people want to buy, just to keep the price like really, really, really low, and so the barrier of
Barrier of
the
entry, I
the
think,
entry
isn't it?
barrier,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's like really, really low, and uh, and through this, and we're not just gonna make it like cheap and easy to access to, but also we're gonna make it NFT opt-in. So that means that you can either like directly mint it through Cardano in the like normal mints,
Yeah.
or you can do it like the current industry standard, which is like purchasing like a digital currency which is non-crypto related, and then
Yeah.
purchasing the digital object,
Yeah.
and then maybe if you want, you mint them to the Cardano blockchain. So just like, let's say for example, League of Legends, you purchase riot points, and with the riot points you purchase skins,
Yeah.
and then the skins are actually not yours, they're like Riot,
Yeah.
like legally, but but you just have them, and Riot doesn't let you like just trade them or give them away,
Yeah.
or swap them or do whatever you want with them. And we'll basically do the same and say, hey, do you want these freedoms back? Do you want, to be able to swap your repeated ones with your friends, or sell them, or purchase from someone else? Then just mint them into the Cardano blockchain, and then you're free to go, right? You're just free
Yeah.
to do whatever you want with those. But then we have like this bridge uh, in which people can get into our space and start interacting with our products and just playing our games and going through this RPG collaborative experience. Um and it's a really low barrier of access. The accessibility is there, right?
Yeah.
Because these people are already familiar with just purchasing digital assets from video games, and just do like microtransactions, etc. Right? There's so many like League of Legends players which are already used to just swapping a card, getting some riot points, purchasing
Yeah.
their skins. So the same way you'll do this, and then we'll give like that extra incentive of say like, hey, we actually give you more freedoms that Riot does, right? Because we
Yeah.
actually let you trade these things and swap them and do whatever you want with them.
Yeah. They belong
And
to
the
you.
way in which you do it is through like going through the blockchain, because that's what the blockchain is made for, right?
Yeah, exactly. No, no, it makes sense. Like I obviously playing Counter Strike for a very long time, and obviously the whole skin market in that game is so fundamental to the actual ecosystem of the game. Like even though the skins don't actually offer anything in game, like they don't actually make a difference to the experience you have, they're just something that's kind of part of the whole thing. Like when you think of Counter Strike and you watch all the pros play, they've always got the best skins. They've always got the best knife, always got the best AK, and it'd be cool to have like obviously and again, when you play, the more you play the game of Counter Strike, the more experience that you get. Guess what happens? You unlock experience points, and you can use that experience points, and you get drops. So when you hit a certain level, a skin will enter your inventory, and then you've got a new skin to play with. So it definitely makes it kind of more accessible to the audience, because most people in the world who play games nowadays are understanding of, if I want to buy something in a game, I've got to pay for it, or I've got to play the game to earn it, and then I'll get the thing given to me, because that's just like a popular thing. Like you say, League of Legends is a good example with the skins there. What other, I'm trying to think other games. Counter Strike is another one where it's like popular to have skins in the game. Rune Terror, I don't know if you can get skins in that game, I'm not too sure, but those sort of smaller micro transactions are the kind of bread and butter of quite a lot of games nowadays, right?
Yeah, exactly. And every great technology, I think, needs like a bridge, like a moment in which you're still within like the old and starting
Mm.
to make people adjust to the new, and you use like old methods to achieve the new. Like just like for example the internet, right? The internet before it ran on the phone line. So the internet was literally running on legacy infrastructure
Mm.
until they started creating a proper infrastructure for the internet. So in the same way, I think that for projects like us in which we're using new technology to give better futures than the legacy technology is giving, we need we need to go through like a transition period, which I think a lot of projects are just simply not doing, right?
Yeah.
So for us, I think it's super important to give that transition period
Yeah.
in which you just let things work the old way with optional the new way, and then you just start transitioning people into like
Yeah.
the new way of thinking, the new paradigm, right?
Yeah.
And hopefully if we do our work well, like, a lot of people will start getting into NFTs, they'll see the value of it. Maybe if we focus on creating value, hopefully a lot of people will start realizing that NFTs is not all about scams and about getting rich, uh,
Yeah.
but actually bringing some new value to people that were that it was taking away from them, right,
Yeah.
by the current corporations, etc.
Yeah. No, I totally understand. And speaking of value, um, we've been kind of partnered with Jpeg Store for quite a while now, maybe like 2 months or so when we had the original mint planned. But I've spoken to Blake before. You're obviously a lot closer to Blake than myself. He's an awesome guy, a great fella, and he's he's kind of formed a good relationship with yourself and the project. So, talk to us more about kind of the relationship that the Drunken Dragon has with JPEG Store and how we're looking forward, like looking to take that sort of forward.
I'm just watching the chat a bit, and I see like some questions about what time is tomorrow the mint,
Oh, okay, yeah,
and tomorrow the mint is at 18 hours UTC. So I think someone was asking specifically about Dutch time. I think the Netherlands is +1, I believe.
yeah.
So that'll be 19 hours for them.
I think so because it's
Um, yeah.
it's 19 hours for me in UK. So I think that it's if I just go Dutch to
If it's
UTC,
summertime, I believe it's +2, so that'll be like 20 hours.
yeah. I think that it will be I think it's just +1, so um it'll be 7 p.m. for Dutch.
And for anyone listening, if you are not sure at what time it will be, you just can go to our Discord, and then on the top, at the top, there's like a channel called Season 2 Mint. And the date there, we use a bot to adjust for your current time zone. So whatever it says there, that's your time, the time and date in which it will happen.
There we go. I've just pasted in the Discord a link to the actual channel itself as well. I think thanks for Vimti for setting it up. Yeah, it displays the exact time and date dependent on your location, exactly what time it is. So yeah, I think it was
Our
Tam Hewitt
Discord
Baker.
wizard.
Yeah, the Discord wizard. He's yeah, it'll be listed in there. So yeah, JPEG store. How's it all going with them?
Well, I think it was like an exceptional experience with them. Like they were like super receptive from the beginning. Blake uh, expressed or demonstrated a lot of enthusiasm for this idea and for this collaboration. And from the beginning there was like a lot of communication. Like there's a direct communication between me and Blake and his team, through the whole process. Yeah, like for example, when we had to delay things, it was a lot of talking within each other. I We even like did a bit of, well, I um even contributed a bit with some ideas on how it could be solved, etc. But the JPEG store is an exceptional team, and they've been really hard at work, and I know that they spend a lot of like overtime, uh, like it comes from each one of them, right?
Yeah.
It's not like Blake is making them do so,
Yeah, there's a big
but
team there.
yeah, but they volunteer a lot of extra time to make things right, and they're super passionate, and they were definitely super committed to delivering quality. So it was like they had like this always this strong argument in which they didn't want to go live without the experience being near perfect, right?
Yeah.
So there was a lot of collaboration on all the whole testing process, and um, we brought our community to also help in all the test meets, etc.
Yeah.
So I think it was quite an adventure. It was quite epic.
Yeah, it
I
was.
really
Yeah.
enjoy it. Yeah,
It kind of got our community to be all part of it, right? Because like the test mint happened, the first ever one. There was obviously a lot of improvements that needed to be made before we went live with it with us, and the kind of each week having a new thing to mint, and a lot of our community like got involved in like the little hippos and stuff, and then that was a cool talking point, and then obviously that led up to minting the little dragon pets that we're going to be having in the game too, and that whole thing went really smoothly. Like you can see the kind of evolving of how it went from like quite a lot of problems to actually there's some problems, but it's pretty smooth for the most part up until now, where it
yeah.
seems like it's kind of super stable. It's like 95%. You know what, it's going to work, and it's solid. So obviously they've even had like another sort of 2 weeks since that mint to like even iron out a few more issues. So I've got no hesitation that tomorrow at 6 p.m. UTC it's all going to be absolutely flowing flowing well, right?
Yeah, definitely. I'm pretty sure everything is gonna be all right on that end tomorrow.
Yeah. No, it's going to be
But yeah.
exciting. I mean, have you guys, as the dev team, got any plans for things to do tomorrow night? Just from my own personal perspective, I'm working till 5:30 my time, which is +1. So I'm hoping when I get in and and get settled down, get the kids to bed, I'll be able to sit down and actually do my mint. And then, like I said to everyone in the community, I'm going to be recording a video that will go on our YouTube of me sitting there doing a public mint just like everyone else, and probably be like a 5-10 minute video of me having a chat and talking like I am now, but minting at the same time. So what's the dev team got planned for tomorrow?
Well, we're just gonna be on Discord, and we'll probably just mint together through Discord and
Nice.
just watching. I'll be active in the General Tavern, and let's see what happens.
Yeah, who are you most looking forward to minting tomorrow? Who's the one out of all the 50? Which one would you like to get the most?
Well, I mean, if I can get at least 1 terahertz or one beam tier, that'll be awesome, right?
Ah, yeah.
But
50 each. 50 each. They're going to be rare.
yeah, that's gonna be hard, I guess. Um, but yeah, I mean, I guess there's like several characters I really like. I mean, I think the ones I really want, and if I don't get them, I'll definitely purchase them from the second market, is the trio of Gadrul, Vadana, and the innkeeper girl. What was her name? Actually, it was a really simple name. Can't remember.
Yeah, I've got
But
I've got a picture of her in my head right now. I can't remember the name. I think we can do an M. I might be wrong, but
those three are like the tavern trio,
yeah,
and they all run like a tavern together. Their characters, at least within the lore, and I really like the art from those three.
I think
They're
that's
really beautiful.
Mateys. Is that
Also,
Mate?
like
Was that Mate who had done that? I think it was.
she did the innkeeper and the tavern maiden, Solvadana.
Yeah.
But Gadrul, the cook, it was made by Luke.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So Luke's art is also really nice. Uh, which brings me to if I get like a full cool mirror team, that'll be awesome.
Awesome.
Those are also pretty epic.
So last question from me before we head over to the community and go to the chat. So obviously we've spoken today about all the interesting things that are coming up, and obviously we've got some stuff that is announced and stuff that isn't announced that we're still looking forward to. But what one thing are you most excited about in the future of the Drunken Dragon? And that's not. There's no time frame on this. There could be 10 years in time. It could be 5 years time. It could be tomorrow. What thing are you most excited about?
Well, the thing that I'm most excited about, and that I think that's the thing that will make me think in my head that this was a success, like this project is either starting or it's already in its own form a success, is a moment in which someone else comes and creates a product out of our universe.
Yeah.
Like the moment in which someone properly like builds a full product and gets probably financed by our decentralized treasury and goes through the whole pipeline of actually building something which is not simple, like that actually took a lot of effort, and that goes through the whole pipeline and gets sold through our store, and and he actually gets like some revenue from it, and the first time the whole promise of having an autonomous fantasy franchise happens, that's going to be like an extremely epic moment, right?
Yeah.
Because that's the promise, like the moment in which we know that we're creating an epic universe together, right?
Yeah.
And that's one. And the second day in which I'm gonna like cry of happiness is a moment in which I just go to a random like anime and video con, and then just find someone cosplaying one of our characters. That'll
Yeah.
be an amazing day. That's a moment in which gonna reflect that we actually succeeded. The moment in which I know that we're like somehow moving emotions and excitement, and uh, and actually our characters are compelling enough for people to actually put effort into creating cosplay, for example. I think that's gonna be my moment.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I can feel in the future, like obviously where I've got the new job now, and I'm a bit more flexible. It'd be cool, like next year if there's something going on and we finally meet up together in Europe or US or wherever it might be, and walking through a convention and someone coming up to you and be like, "Hey, Vledik, you're the guy from the Drunken Dragon," and I'll be like, "So am I," and it'd be cool to like actually like meet people like in person and just talk about the project and talk about everything. And I know you guys are going to be at CNFTCon this
Yeah.
October. So can you tell us some more about that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that's gonna be super cool. So we're gonna have a booth at CNFTCon, which is this Cardano NFT convention happening in Las Vegas. If you don't know about it, you can check it out at cnft.io. and and yeah, we're gonna have a booth. It's gonna be nicely decorated with the S2 art, and we're gonna be there. I'm gonna be there with full armor regalia, and we're gonna be able to chat, talk a bit about the Drunken Dragon, what's next. Um, we're doing our best to bring some merchandise, and yeah, I think it's gonna be pretty epic. It's gonna be a lot of fun, and I'm also gonna. I think I think it's already confirmed. I'm not sure, but I'm also gonna give a conference talk
Nice.
regarding what is our vision on how blockchain will impact the entertainment industry, which is everything about the autonomous fantasy franchises and everything we're doing here at the Drunken Dragon.
Yeah, nice. I mean, I think I remember the sort of hype last year when there was the CNFT card and everyone was kind of sitting around watching the stream on Twitch or YouTube, wherever it was. It's a pretty awesome thing, and I'm looking forward to being part of it at some point in the next couple of years. And shout out to Rocky, who's coming all the way from Australia. He's one of our long-term members, so hey to him in the chat. Um,
Awesome.
yeah, thanks everyone for kind of hanging out and listening to my questions. But now we've got some questions from you guys. So if you wanted to write into the chat anything you've got on your mind, I'm going to go through some ones that I've already got asked. But if you guys have any questions for Vladik and myself, then you've got the sort of next 15 and 20 minutes to kind of go through and write them in there. So the first question I've got for you is, well, Vimtier says when merch, but as you can see, it's not too far away because look what I've got in my hand. Um, So from Marv, I've got: is there a plan for a non-self-custodied asset for people outside the cryptosphere? The reason I'm asking is that the long-term goal seems to be getting people together that might want to treat it as Steam, Blizzard, etc. account without any interest in delving deeper into crypto. And I think you answered quite a lot of that already today, which is quite fitting, really. But yeah, just elaborate a bit more. So the Drunken Dragon wants to be like a Blizzard or a Steam or a World of Warcraft, where it doesn't really require you to absolutely have NFTs to play the game, right?
Yeah, and that's absolutely the case, and what we're gonna be working on the months ahead. So as I said, we're gonna create like this adventure collection, which is not gonna be character based. It's not like the S2 collection.
Yeah.
They're gonna be adventures Auristar themed. So like we're gonna have like rogues, warlocks, and all of the classes that we have. Cooks, traders, carpenters, blacksmiths, druids, etc. But we're gonna all design them Auristar themed because we're gonna focus on Auristar and its lore and everything regarding that city in the next months. And this will be when we release them. There you'll have the option of purchasing them either through with ADA through the blockchain and then have the actual NFTs in your wallet, or purchase them as like you will purchase a skin in League of Legends or any microtransaction in
Yeah.
any other game. Um, and then if you have anything which is any asset which is non NFT, you'll have the option to mint it for free, right, into an NFT.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be possible the other way around. If you have an NFT, then that's yours, and we're gonna, of course, you're gonna be able to use it and play it and trade it and whatever. Uh, but we're basically, as I said already before, we want to make this bridge and make it accessible for people to get into our universe
Yeah.
and start playing and using our experiences and having a blockchain and crypto just this like extra thing that gives you extra value, but it's not like the thing we're centered around.
Yeah.
Because what we really are focused on is creating an epic universe, right?
Yeah. A question in the chat before I head over to one of our community questions is anyone else from the team coming with Vledic to CNFTCon?
Um, Hopefully, I mean, we're actually arranging those things
Yeah.
this week. But if everything goes all right, it's gonna be six of us
Well,
at
nice.
CNFTCon. So me, Luke, Mytesk, um, who else? The two backend developers. Well, two web developers that we have that you probably guys haven't heard about them. Their last name is Bear, like
Paris,
the animal.
yeah.
and um, and Ferras, we're figuring out if we can fix his visa because it's not up to date and it's and right now because of COVID, there's like a big backlog of people trying to either get a USA visa or renew their visa. So it might not be possible for you to meet Ferras at CNFTCon, which is like a big shame. Um, and I think and Martin, which is one of the game developers as well.
Yeah.
Well, right now the only game developer, but the Unreal Engine game developer.
Yeah, nice.
So I hope to meet many of you
Yeah.
there. I think that's one of the things I'm most excited about, like actually meeting real life some of these people.
Yeah, it'd be cool to, yeah, again, like I say, if you're, Vledic openly asked me as well, but unfortunately I have work commitments and life commitments. But I'm looking forward to when it happens in the future in Europe, because Europe is so easy for me to get to. I can literally just jump on a train and I'm in Netherlands, France, Spain, wherever, in like an hour or two. So if it ever happens in Netherlands or somewhere like that, I'm there within minutes or hours maybe. But it's gonna be awesome. Um,
And eventually we'll have to have like Drunken Dragon Con, right? And
mm.
hopefully we'll do like one in America and one in Europe, even if they're like really small. I
Well,
think that would be awesome.
Angian just said if there's a European event, he'll definitely go. So I mean, I'm all down for a European event at any point, because Europeans, it's just a great place to be in Europe, but America is too. So it's is it Las Vegas that the con is?
Yeah,
Las
in
Vegas,
Las
yeah.
Vegas,
It's going to
at the
be
Las Vegas Convention Center.
oof, oof, it's going to be lots of fun. So I've got some questions from Lunacy, one of the people who wants to know a lot more about Idle Adventures. I'm not going to ask all the questions because it's quite a lot, but I'll just pick a few that I wanted to speak about. How will the crafting of furniture work? Do we mint via resources that we get through quests? This is related to Idle Adventures.
Yeah, that's a really good question because one of the um, ultimate objectives of our games and experiences and of Dragon Silver is to get furniture for your inn, right? And we've talked about how inns will work a bit, but we want to basically help you create the most epic inn and tavern for adventurers. And the way in which you get these collectibles and this future furniture is through crafting them. And the way in which we want to do it is through like some kind of gamification around crafting the actual NFTs of the furniture. So you'll actually through like playing our games, you'll get different resources, and actually with using the, carpenters and blacksmiths from our different collections, you'll actually like build ingredients and parts, and finally build the actual furniture.
Mm-hmm.
And we're basically gonna follow this strategy for almost everything, in which you'll get the assets off chain, and then give you, and for some assets we'll give you the option of minting them on chain, right?
Yeah.
So that means that everything you'll get it first in the game, and then if you want, you'll be able to like actually mint it into like a token or an NFT, right? And not everything is you're gonna be able to like mint it into an NFT, right? Things that we don't want people to trade between them because of gamification reasons, because we want to ensure that things are fun first. uh, there might be some of those which you won't be able to like mint. But for example, the actual final furniture or a lot of these final things, you'll be able to mint it into an NFT if you want and use it.
Yeah.
So you'll always have this option in between keeping it within off chain, and then eventually mint it if you want.
Yeah. Cool. So, another question was: doesn't the weapons and armor being bound to a character, I presume this is with GMAs, take away a fun aspect of the game, which could be obtaining better weapons and armor?
Well, the weapon and armor of the GMAs, these are stats that are being mapped to something else, which is the new APS system that we're introducing with this collection. And then within the game, there's gonna be a decoupling of how your adventure looks and what he wears, and the quality of the things he's wearing. So a little bit like how it happens um, with some idle RPGs, or with, for example, with Genshin Impact, in which the quality of the items that you're wearing does not necessarily reflect on the visual aspects of your adventure, because your character already has set visuals, right? But yeah, we're making some trade-offs there. But yeah.
Yeah, cool. Um, and yeah, Vim APS stands for Aptitude Point System. So just for everyone in the chat, I thought it was action points, but I was quite far off with that one. So, what sort of resources will you actually get? I mean, so when you're in the Idle Adventures game and you're getting experience for completing quests, is there a possibility that you might be dropped items as well during these quests? Like you might be dropped like a hammer, or you might be dropped a piece of coal, or a piece of armor, or something. Is that something that is going to be done, or is it just going to be experience only?
No, this is something we've been designing for some time, for a couple of weeks now, and it's gonna take a bit of time for us to implement it. But what we want to do is for you to have some idle activities to do. So if you've ever played Melvor, idle RPG, for example, it's gonna be something on that side. but there's basically going to be certain activities that you'll do and they're idle, and and some quests also will basically yield some resources, and depending on the quest or depending on where you go to do these activities, and depending on some skills that your characters have, this will yield different type of resources which you'll be able to trade with other players and use to do crafting. And the crafting will be either to actually craft some cosmetic NFT, or to craft items which are usable within game, like armor or consumables, beer that gives you strength and stuff like that.
Yeah,
uh,
cool.
and because we really want to be um, like an economy driven game in which, instead of you, like for example, looting a sword or gear from like a dungeon or something like that, we want to focus it on crafting. So like adventuring gets you like really nice resources that crafters can use to craft really nice items, that people can use to adventure even like further, right?
Yeah,
So we really want to create like a cool and interesting economy behind our game.
awesome. I think we've covered quite a lot today. We've got another question in the chat with, will you be implementing more pets and possibly a battle system for them? For example, the Ranger and Hunter class. And I'm guessing that's related to the Dragon pets that were minted last week in the test mint.
Yeah, we definitely have some ideas regarding that, and because that's definitely fun and interesting. And in due time, we'll introduce some mechanics like that, and transform some pixel tiles, which are right now considered adventurers, convert them into pets,
Yeah.
and yeah, continue creating new pets. But but yeah, we like the idea of pets. We just need to have time to implement the different mechanics that can
Yeah.
happen there.
Yeah,
But
cool.
we love the idea of pets.
Ennie's 91, who you all know, who helps me out wonderfully on the Drunken Hero website, has asked, are there any plans for a team to use a streaming platform, for example, YouTube and Twitch, regularly when the games are out? I don't think that I would imagine that's not something that we've even thought about yet. I'm absolutely, when the games are out and I can play them, I'll be heading onto the official YouTube channel and streaming them. I've got no qualms doing that, playing for a few hours in the week and just chucking the stream on and chilling and having some fun with you all. I've got no problem doing that. But I
Yeah.
would imagine there's not really been like any sort of Twitch team slash YouTube team reach outs at this point because it's quite early, right?
Yeah, it's too early, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. But hopefully with this whole collaborative, augmented role-playing experience that we want to create, hopefully there'll be at least some YouTubers that will want to do some recapitulations of what's going on with the lore, etc. I think if there's a moment in which we reach that point, that'll be super good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to just sitting and chilling out with the community and just playing the game, doing some battles with people. Like people can come and challenge me and stuff. I'm not going to be very good at the game. Don't worry. I'm no good at sort of like action RPG, like RTS games. So you can all come and take the Mickey out of me and make me look like a fool with all your great NFTs. Mike, brother Mike's asked, is there a date for the test mint NFTs to come to our inns? And I think when he means test mint, I'm going to presume he means, like we're talking about the sort of free slash really cheap um, characters we can use in the game. Is there any sort of ideas on when they're going to be around and available?
No, we don't have set dates.
Okay.
We're working right now on what we're investing a lot in right now is like figuring out the or designing the whole visual aspect of Auristar and all the lore and how everything works. We really want to um, outperform ourselves in the art aspects for this one.
Mm.
So like the visual, yeah. I mean, we're constantly trying to refine our art and the way in which we show our universe and the world and how what is interesting about the world. So we're working on that right now, but we'll definitely let you know as soon as there's like more information about it.
Yeah, I always whenever you talk about Orostar and like the whole thing, it just reminds me of the first time that I stepped into Stormwind City when I was playing World of Warcraft in like 2005, and like I started in Elwyn Forest, and you're around there killing boars, and you go to Goldshire, and then you're out in the open in like a field just killing things, and when you get to like level 12 or 13, and you're sent to go to Westfall, and you go to the Dead Mines, and then when you get to go and do the stockades, and you get sent there, and you walk into Stormwind, it's a whole different world. Like it's a whole different world
Yeah,
compared to what you used to. And I imagine Oristar being that sort of vast world with
yeah,
like a wing for mages, a wing for battle, a wing for like a church, a wing for the kind of the paladins, and then like little pieces here and there, and a dock. Like, I'm looking forward to actually
yeah.
seeing the whole how Oristar looks. It's gonna be pretty special, right?
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah. Cool. In which case, then it is now 10:14 p.m., which means I'm guessing 4:14 for you, Vedic.
Yeah, exactly
4:14.
like that.
So I'm going to finish my beer right now for you, and I'm going to say cheers. Thanks for you guys all, and then Vladic's going for his as well. Thanks for all joining us, guys. It was great to speak to you all in the chat. I'll speak for Vledic and myself when we say it's great to see you all here in the chat, asking questions and being active and being part of our awesome community, and just kind of being here with us on this journey. And the journey takes a really, really large step tomorrow, so it'd be great to see you in the Discord around about 6 p.m. UTC, because there's going to be a load of activity in there. I'm going to be in there. Most of the innkeepers are going to be there. As Vledic said, all of the dev team are going to be there, and minting and just enjoying each other's company and talking about the pools that you get. And I'll be doing a video in the night at some point, and it's all going to be just lots of fun. And it's just like a real momentous occasion for something that's been really worked on hard with the whole dev team, the whole art team have been pouring their efforts and their hearts into this for the whole sort of last 3 or 4 months, including the innkeeper team who've been working on keeping the socials going, and even the people that are hyped about it in the chat. It's great to have you all part of this. So I'm expecting to see you all in the chat tomorrow in the Discord. And if you pull anything awesome like a terahertz card, make sure you let me know about it at me in the general tavern. If you pull anything awesome, let us know. I think just to confirm one last thing, do you know how many is the maximum that someone can mint? Is it 10?
Um, we're
In-
still deciding that
Okay.
right now, but it's gonna be something a bit more than that, I believe.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Well, we'll keep that. We'll keep that open then, and then tomorrow, we'll let you guys know exactly what the sort of stipulations are with the minting. But it's going to be epic, no matter what happens, because we're all going to be there as a family and enjoying each other's company and getting some awesome NFTs that we can use in the game in the future. So thank you guys for being here, and make sure, of course, those that are new here to follow us on all our social media, jump into our Discord. I posted the link in there earlier, but I will just say it is discord.com/Drunken Dragon, and that will get you into our Discord, and we can welcome you there with a mug in the air, like we always say. So all I'll say is cheers, adventurers. Have a great evening, and we will see you all tomorrow for the mint.
Cheers.
Cheers, adventurers. See you soon.